Welcome to Delusion. Not just a podcast, a state of mind, where we decode what makes the 1% different. I'm Chaz Galata, a professional basketball skills trainer and performance specialist. If you're looking for what it actually takes to separate from the pack, this podcast is for you. All right, welcome back to Delusion. I got my guy Yuri in the building. Yes, sir.
Hello, it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know, Yuri was a star guard at SLU. Had a pretty good career there. Not too bad. Probably we'll get his jersey hung up here in the next. We'll see how long it takes, but eventually, right?
Yeah.
Had some time on some in the G League, making his way to the NBA and everything. Played overseas, and that's kind of a fast track on his story if you don't know who he is already. Other than that, I think we got hooked up together last October, or it was earlier than that.
Yeah, it was
August.
August.
It was, yeah. So last August.
Yeah.
And then ever since that first workout, I mean, we've been pretty locked in after that. So, yeah. Well, thanks for being here, man.
For sure. Appreciate you for having me.
One, I wanted to kind of go in and dive into a little bit of your story from like high school, and then, kind of growing up here in St. Louis, being a hometown kid, going to a hometown school, what that looked like, and then we can go in further after that.
Yeah, so, to start off, I went to St. Mary's High School, all boys school on the south side.
Did you always know you were going to go there, or were you going to go somewhere else?
My first option was Madison Prep. Madison Prep closed down. Mm-hmm. Went to Vashon. My mom like, hell no, you're not going to Vashon. So I've been in public school all my life. So then I started to look at Sodan because I had some friends that was in middle school with me going to Sodan. So we was looking around at Sodan. My dad wanted me to go to CBC, Chaminade. He was talking about Jordan Barnes and Jason Tatum. But mind you, at this time, I'm in 8th grade. I don't know who Jordan Barnes, no Jason Tatum. I don't know Justin Tatum. I don't know nobody. So I'm telling my dad, like, I'm trying to go somewhere where I can kind of make a name for myself. Like, I want to go in and play. Like, I wasn't big on going somewhere where, like, it was already people there and I kind of had to play in their shadow. So we kind of closed that down, and we was looking at Sodan and St. Mary's. And Coach Lee, Kelvin Lee at the time, he was at St. Mary's. He had formerly Coach David Lee, Bradley Beal. He had Jason Tatum. He was at St. Mary's, and he kind of wiggled his way in. And after hearing his story and seeing his resume, the people he coached, the connections he had, it was a no-brainer for me. So I ended up going to St. Mary's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did a little bit, my 4 years there. Going in, I didn't know what to expect. It's all boys school. They weren't that good at basketball. But my whole thing was, I'm finna go in and I'm gonna change the program.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So went in, and my run there was crazy. Like, I was able to do some special things there. And
What did that look like?
freshman year, we went in, had a great year. We lost in the district championship to Vashon, so I took second place that year. And then from there on, I had never lost in districts again. But I didn't make state until my senior year. So my sophomore and junior year, we lost to Vashon in like the quarterfinals, semifinals, both years. No, my sophomore year, we lost to Vashon in the semifinals, quarterfinals, one of those. My junior year, we beat them. And then we ended up playing Sykeston the next game and got beat by 30.
Yeah.
We got beat by 30. But at the time, they had Fred Thatch over there at Sykeston, and he was an animal.
Yeah.
He had like 14 points and like 20-something rebounds that game. And
Yeah.
just his rebounds alone beat us.
Yeah.
And that year was supposed to be our year, and it didn't happen. We fell short. Mind you, this whole time, my junior year, I was playing with a dislocated shoulder. So I wore a shoulder brace, and actually in that game, my shoulder had popped out, but it was popping out all that year. So I ended up going into this summer. I played with Brad Bill Lee in the summertime. I played half of the summer all the way up until July. And then I ended up getting surgery on my shoulder to repair it because I was going to college. And I wanted to just make sure I was healthy going into college that next year. So my senior year, what was it? My senior year, I missed like the first 8 to 10 games with my shoulder recovery, and it was kind of up and down. I came back. We were like maybe 500. I came back in the LeBron Classic. We played in the LeBron Classic in Ohio. My first game back, I had like 38 points. I hit the game-winning buzzer beater. And from there on, I just went on a run almost by myself. We had that team was special because everybody knew I was the guy and they accepted that, and everybody would literally give me the ball and like get out my way.
Yeah.
So like,
You were able to kind of like rock out a little bit, and you had support staff
yeah,
from trust from your coaches and teammates to like make that work.
and I was able to show like a different aspect of my game because my freshman through junior year, I was more of a passer. But I didn't have to score. I had guys around me that could go get 20, 15 points a game. So I'm like,
And that changed your senior year.
in my senior year, it flipped. Now I was going to show I can go get 40. I can go get 30. So that opened up another aspect of my game. But my senior year is when we went on a state run. I lost in the state championship game by like 4 points to Grandview out of Kansas City.
Yeah.
It was a great game. I was actually playing on one leg. I had a thigh contusion. I wasn't even supposed to play that game, but I wasn't missing my last, especially
You're
state championship.
yeah.
So I ended up playing that game. I had like 34 points. But if I was healthy, we would have won that game. And I probably would have had like 50 points. But nah, my high school journey, it was like I loved every bit of it. I went through 2 coaches. Brian Turner was my second coach. He was my assistant at the time. Joe Green, he was my middle school coach. He was the glue how I got connected with Coach Lee at St. Mary's anyway. So I still got great relations with all of them.
Yeah.
So my time at high school, it was great.
Well, you know, Turner, when I was a 15U, I played for the Eagles. When I was a 15U, were they BBE when you played for them?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
No, I was the Eagles for 2 years. They was BBE in my last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they were the Eagles with when I played for them, of course. And my 15U year, Turner was one of my coaches.
he did tell me that. He told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me that.
Yeah. So I've known him for a long time, and I ended up going to SIU, which is where he went.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Cool. And then so with this process, everything, what did like your recruitment? What did that look like getting in through? Going from, you know, in high school, like, you know, did you get a lot of that from playing on the circuit? Did you get that from your connections with the staff you had at you know, at school and playing in some of these like showcase events and everything?
Yeah, so like my recruitment was
Because right now, as you know, the whole landscape of recruitment is just totally different with this NIL thing.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But my stuff was like I didn't really start getting recruited until my sophomore year of high school. But you know, at a time like I sound old saying this, but back when I was getting recruited,
Yeah.
like you couldn't talk to a player until he was like
Sophomore.
a certain age.
Until sophomore. That's when I got my first offer.
Yeah.
I got my first offer, same thing. It was
Yeah.
like December of my sophomore year, and I
Yeah.
got a call,
Yeah.
and then an offer right there.
So mine was from SLU. It was actually I was in summer workouts.
That was your first one?
That was my first offer. I was in summer workouts with my high school, and Coach Turner actually he pulled me out. He was like, "You got a call," and I took the call, and it was Coach Tate and Coach Ford, and I got offered right there. And literally like a couple days later, Mizzou called and offered. So SLU and Mizzou was like, then was my first 2 offers, and it was literally like 3 days apart. And from there on, it kind of went up. But my recruitment progress, it was a little slow. I probably ended up with maybe like 12 to 14 offers or something like that. I had Mizzou and Iowa were probably my only Power 5. I had SMU, a lot of local schools around the area. I had some good offers, but my mind was kind of like the mindset I had going into high school. I wanted to go where I was going to play. I didn't care where it was. Of course, you always want to play in like a bigger conference. But when I was choosing my decision, my whole thing was where can I go and play? I wasn't trying to wait. I wasn't trying to sit. Um, I wanted to be somewhere where they wanted me and they needed me. So uh, narrowing it down to SLU was kind of easy. Actually, let me not say easy because I was really like intrigued and I love what Iowa had over there and what they were offering and the whole setup they had. But they end up taking Joe Toussaint at the time. And literally, I was on a visit with SLU, and Iowa called me on my visit because I was supposed to go to Iowa the next weekend on an official visit. Iowa called me and said, "Hey, like, we just took a point guard. You can still come down, but like, it doesn't look like we're having another scholarship and this and that." So the uncertainty right there just kind of made my decision even more like of a certainty. So
It
like,
made it like
yeah, like,
and like it's in your backyard too.
yeah,
And
yeah,
a good still a good conference.
yeah,
It's not like it's
yeah. It
you're
was the
playing.
crib, but like, I know for me, like, I wanted to get away, but at the same time, I was just, I'm like, if this is the right place to be, then I'm gonna stay home. And I just remember like throughout my whole visit, I was stressed out. I was like, I'm ready to get it all over with. And on that night, the last night, I had sat in my room with my mama, and I told her, I'm like, I'm committing. She's like, what? Because it just came like abrupt to everybody. But like, I'm like, Mama, I'm tired. Like I told her, like I'm tired of the process. Like I want it to be over. And I mean, it was a good tired though. Like it was good pressure to have on me. But I was just tired of all the, I'm a quiet guy anyways. I get tired of talking and just
Talking,
being at
text
all these
calls every
meetings.
time,
Yeah,
and
I
you're
was ready
like,
to.
meet about this, meet about that, and
Yeah,
you're like,
I
yeah,
just be trying to hoop. So I had told her like I'm gonna do it, and she was just like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." So became
yeah.
a Billiken.
Yeah, which I would say ended up probably being a pretty pretty
Yeah,
good decision.
yeah,
A great situation. If you could hand select a situation, I mean, you probably picked the best one you could.
facts.
Like, looking back at everything and the way the cards have kind of been, the cards you were dealt.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, guys, so now, let's fast forward and everything. I know, like, actually, I was looking the other day and everything, and looking at your freshman year. It's like, I was like, I know you didn't start, but then you still played 25 minutes, had like 11 assists your first game.
yeah, yeah.
And then it was probably shortly after that where it's like you just started and it didn't look back
Yeah.
after that. How was I guess, your summer leading into that? And then kind of like, did you feel like you should have started earlier, or do you feel like there was still like some things where like you just needed to prove it in a game?
Uh, I mean, I kind of didn't know what to expect. I knew I was walking into an opportunity where I was going to have the opportunity to be a starter, but we had some talented guys and some grown men there at the time.
Well,
So like,
I'm more so talking about like after the summer, because you had the whole summer with
oh
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Like, that's probably what you felt like before walking in, but like when you get done with the summer and you start getting to the fall and everything,
yeah,
you kind of like have an
yeah,
idea. You already
yeah,
know who's like,
yeah,
you know,
and yeah, cause during that time I had the feeling I got in from my performances. I felt like I had belonged, and I don't know. For me, I never expect nothing like ever. So it's like going into it, I knew I would play, but I just didn't know what my role would be. So when I found out I wasn't starting those first few games, it was what it was, and to me, it was just like when I get out there, I'm gonna
yeah, you're
make the
just
best
gonna
of my
do it
opportunity.
right.
So it was probably after like 3 or 4 games, and I was in the starting lineup, and like you said, it was that from there on. I
Yeah.
had never looked back, but uh, like I said, I never walked into anything kind of expecting anything. It was just like I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna show and I'm gonna prove why I should be starting.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then it's like when I get on the court, I'm gonna show you some more why I should and
Yeah.
why you, yeah. So
So what do you think that quality is? Is it your ability to pass? Is it your ability to kind of orchestrate an offense? Is it your ability to command a team? Is it your ability to kind of just, be on the court at your size and not be a liability on defense while adding all that? Is it a
yeah,
combination of it all? Like, what is like, I know other people probably have their ideas and everything, but like, what do you feel about your game?
I do think it's a combination of it all. I do think I personally bring something to the table that not a lot of people was able to bring, and that's on both sides of the ball. So a lot of people look at me and I'm 6 foot, and like you said, some may think I'm a liability on defense. And I was first team all defense 2 years in a row in college, so that spoke for itself. And as the point guard, as the snake, the head of the snake of the offense, and me having the ball as much as I did, I was still able to show that I'm one of the best defenders in this league. So it was me being able to bring something on both sides of the ball. And of course, everybody talks about how I'm able to command the offense and how I'm a second coach on the floor, and I think that's special as well. And that's just like, I don't know, for me, like people ask like, how do I go about it, and what can they do to kind of take from me? I feel like that's just something that was naturally in me.
Do you feel like, and I think this is kind of like a similar story that you've had with like the way you view like your decisions with like going to high school, going to college. I think like, hey, you just like, I could have went to this school and everything, not really knowing everything, but I wanted to kind of like play.
Yeah.
I wanted to be in a situation to where I had the opportunity to get on the floor and, you know, whether learn through play, you know, deserve whatever, but like starting everything, that don't matter as long as I can be on the floor to make an impact. And then you approach it kind of the same way at that next stage. I mean, and then again, having that many reps early in certain situations and then, you know, winning districts multiple years in a row kind of gives you that kind of gives you the keys to be able to, you know, learn that, right?
Yeah.
And that probably has something to do with it. But like you said, I think a lot of it can be innate and a lot of it can be just, you know, like your adolescent years and like, you know, were you given the keys earlier at a, you know, and ran a team earlier, even when you're in fifth, sixth, seventh grade, right?
Yeah, like I mean, true. All that plays a part in it. But I just feel like for me, like I watch a lot of basketball, a lot of basketball, and I think that helps as well because
Probably helps more than all the others, and that's one thing. Like myself, I just did shit.
yeah,
Like I didn't watch a lot of basketball
yeah,
until I started getting into training.
yeah,
Like that's when like my like view of the game and everything really, you know, kind of opened up for me.
facts.
But you were doing this.
I've been doing this since I was a kid, like, and even to now, like people can tell you, like, literally, all I do is watch basketball. I watch basketball, Martin, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and like that only come on at night. So throughout the day, all it is basketball. So like,
I used to watch. We used to watch that all the time.
yeah. So like for me, like I feel like a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do on the court and be that second coach is because of like stuff I've learned from watching and
Well, so how do you watch the game? Because I know a lot of people watch it like from an entertainment side of things, of like just watching the ball, right? Like, would you watch it that way, or like when you say you watch the game and everything, like I'm watching like guys like me, like or guys like you, that like and seeing like, oh, like I see what he did there, I see what he's looking at. Oh, like, you know, if you just got in front, whether it's defense or offense, are you looking at it through that lens more?
more of that lens. But like
Really,
not
even from like a young age.
yeah, but it's not on purpose. That's the thing. Like I'm not like even to this day, like I can watch basketball and like I can just be chilling watching on my phone and look up and see something happen and I'll rewind it and be like, oh, he did that because this happened. Or I'll be like, why did he pull over so far? Like, and that's just like how I am. Like, I don't know why I'm like that, but like I can literally be chilling and watching the game and I'll look up and I'll be like, hold up, rewind it. And I'll be like, oh, that happened because it is. Or he pulled over it. And that's stuff you learn as you get older and stuff you do while you're in the practice and with teams and stuff. But like, it's like I'm almost breaking down film while watching the games. But it's like I said, it's not on
it's
purpose.
unintentional.
Yeah,
For
it's
you,
not
it's
on,
just like
it's
it's out of curiosity.
yeah. I just be
You
wanting to
know?
know. So
No, that's well, it's dope. I mean, it makes sense, like why you're able to see the game the way that you are.
Yeah.
Right? Because you almost like see things before they happen. It's just like somebody who's like a real good chess player who knows all the moves ahead of time.
Yeah.
And is able to kind of like, you know, coordinate attacks based off of like what happens. Like, oh, I know I've seen this guy do this many times. Boom. Now when you play a conference and you get a scout and you now you have tape on guys and see their tendencies, offense and defense, it just makes it honestly makes it easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Than even like AAU where it's like playing a random team on a random weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be because you don't get the same full picture of like what the tendencies
Facts.
are.
Facts.
So okay, so going through and from your college, ending that and everything. Like I said, I think your senior year. I think you. I mean, I'm pretty sure you led the nation in assists, right?
Yeah, my junior and senior year.
Junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, heading into what did your draft process look like? What did your what was your kind of like you said, you don't really expect anything, but you kind of have a feeling of like, what situation were you kind of like looking for versus like the one that you were dealt?
Yeah, so I actually entered the draft my junior year, just to go through the process, and the feedback I got was, okay, yeah, you got good numbers and everything looks good, but do it at a bigger conference. So that summer, I spoke with my parents about everything, and I ended up entering the transfer portal because in my head, I'm like, the only way I can get drafted or even make it to the NBA is if I do it at a
At
bigger
a bigger
conference. So
conference.
I needed to transfer. So I entered the portal, and I tell people all the time, like the two most stressful days of my life was committing, and then when I was in the portal, and it was just because it was a big decision for me. And I remember entering the portal, and literally like 30 minutes later after entering the portal, my phone was just like nonstop, like nonstop coaches, every school you could think of, literally every school in the nation you could think of, from the UConns to the Dukes to the Kentuckys to the Floridas to the Michigan, like, and it was just like too overwhelming at the time because I was already like a little heartbroken about entering the portal because I'm leaving SLU. I didn't want to. I really didn't want to, but I'm like, I gotta do what's best for me. So I went through that, and when these schools are calling, I only picked up for one school, and this was the first school that called. It was Notre Dame, and I picked up because it was a number that I didn't know, but I didn't think schools would reach out that fast. So I picked up for them, and I took that first conversation, and after that, calls were just coming through. I called my mom, and I told my mom I'm cutting my phone off because it was just too much at the time. I cut my phone off for like a day. I cut it off for the rest of the day. I ended up speaking to my mama, and that's why you see me with two phones now. That's the reason I have two phones. So I ended up going to buy another phone and kind of like made one to where like it's a personal and the business phone. Um, but that whole process was crazy. I ended up going back to SLU after it all, just because I was like, man, I'm gonna finish this out here, and I'm gonna do it my way, and I'm gonna show I can go pro from SLU. So I ended up going back to SLU, and that went how it went. My senior year, I ended up was my last year. I had another year. I could have went back for a fifth year. But I'm at this time, I'm like, man, I'm done with school. I had went through a lot my last year in college. I'm like, I'm done. I'm ready to go pro. So I end up fully entering my name into the draft. And I had took like 17 NBA workouts, and them workouts was crazy, like some some crazy stuff. But I was blessed to be able to have that many NBA workouts and for that many teams to be able to call and say, hey, come work out for us. And I took all those workouts, and still I didn't know how things would look for me. We were dealing with NBA teams at the time, and then some teams overseas were calling. But coming straight out of college, my dream has always been to play in the NBA. So all the overseas teams that were calling, I was telling my agent like I don't even want to hear from him, like, because my thing was I want to play in the NBA. So we took all the NBA workouts, and I did all that. Draft night come, my name don't get called, and teams start to call after the draft and was talking about exhibit 10s and coming to training camp and things like that. And I ended up falling with the Warriors. So that's how that process went.
Yeah. Which again, like you went there and everything and had 2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah,
2 good years, in the G League side of things and how is that process? And like I know that you led the G League. Was it both years or
My
is it
second
the
year.
second you
Yeah.
led it in assist, right?
Yeah.
I think what did you have like 15 and like 11 or 12 or
Yeah,
something like that?
15 and 10.8.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, what did that look like, and to do it on such a high level at that point, to because I know at that point you're like, well, like what more can you show
Yeah.
to like before you brought up, and we've talked about it before and everything. A lot of it is just it's not even like what you're doing; it's more
Yeah.
like situations
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And so like, I guess the hardest part is just like navigating the timing and the right situation
Yeah.
for you to be able to show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my first 2 years with Golden State and the Santa Cruz Warriors, I was blessed to be able to be in that position anyways, because my first year I walked in, it's when they had just signed Chris Paul. So it was Chris Paul, Clay, Steph, Draymond. So I was able to kind of spend a lot of time with those guys. And then down at the G League, I had Nick Kerr, which is Steve Kerr's son. He was the head coach. Great coach, knew a lot about the game and taught me a lot. And the assistants that we had down there as well were great coaches. So I learned a lot that year. My first year, I actually didn't play much. And when I did, I was kind of off ball. I was kind of playing the two guard. We had Kendrick Davis there at the time, really good guard. He's now in Australia, but he was kind of like the main focus that year at the point position at least. So I kind of played spur minutes behind him, and sometimes we played along with each other. But he was the primary ball handler. So my first year was kind of a little up and down. I was kind of finding my way throughout everything.
Did you play with Armand Fletcher?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I played with him at SIU.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Armand's my guy. We go way back.
Yeah,
We're the same grade.
Yeah, so he was there my first year too.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure Armand played with you. Yeah.
So he was part of that team as well. But yeah, my first year was kind of up and down. I was kind of navigating my way through everything, and going into that summer, I just kind of like I've always been hungry, and like I said, I never go into anything expecting anything. So the hand I was dealt was the hand I was dealt, and I was cool with that. I just made the most of my opportunity. But that next summer, I had spoke to my agent. I'm like, this next year, my second year, I want to be somewhere where I'm in that position that Kendrick was in. And Golden State told me if I had came back there that they were giving me that spot. And nothing is promised in the NBA or the G League at all. So I took their word and I went back. And they brought in Reese Beekman from Virginia. They signed him to a two-way. So he came in that second year with me. And I was coming in thinking, okay, in the G League is going to be my show. I'm going to be able to run everything. I'm going to be able to show who I am and what I can do. Reese Beekman comes in, and he's the primary guard at this point. So I'm back to where I was, but now I'm playing a little bit more minutes. But it was kind of like the same situation, upgraded a little bit. But so I'm dealing with this. I'm navigating through it. I'm making the best of what it is. And the trade happens where they bring in Dennis Schroeder from Brooklyn. And I forgot who else got traded or whatever. But it trades Reese Beekman out. So he goes to Brooklyn. So now I'm in a G, and I get this position I wanted. And from there on is kind of where I made my mark and kind of took off. And like you said, I led the G and assist that year. I think I got the record for the most assists in G League history in a season. So I was able to do some special things there that year. So
I think one thing that you know that I believe, just being around you, seeing kind of like your journey from high school, when you're hearing about that more, your college, and then even you as a pro, I think ultimately it's like once you get that opportunity, I was like, I have full faith that you'll,
yeah,
just like you have full faith that like that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
like it's not really like I don't even think you feel stressed or pressured. It's just like the moment that opportunity happens, everything. It's just like all right, like it's like you'll be
yeah.
able to be who you always been at every level,
Exactly.
right? Which is the same reason. It's like had you gone to a bigger school, had you made that move, I think you would have done the same thing that you ended up doing at SLU
Yeah.
and this type of thing. But it's
Yeah.
like, the tough thing about playing the sport that we do, uh, you if you're not 6'5",
Yeah. Facts.
like
Yeah. It's hard for you. It's hard.
it gets
It's
infinitely
hard.
harder, and
Yeah.
every inch you subtract on top
Yeah.
of that makes it
Yeah.
harder and harder.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. So, then let's kind of go, let's keep going down that and everything. And then I think this is where we kind of get hooked up after this, right? Where
Yep.
you were about to go to Brooklyn, and
Yep.
that's kind of like the setup and everything. And then just, well, one, to kind of talk about like what you were kind of doing, I guess, beforehand, and then like, kind of how we get connected, and then how that relationship kind of takes,
Yeah.
kind of goes from there.
Yeah. So, like you said, that summer I come home. I'm training, and I was working with a guy at SLU, one of their player development, a guy on their staff, and I was training with him. But my head trainer, who I've worked with all my life, Corey Frazier, he lives in Atlanta now. So um, at this time, I'm kind of looking for somebody to kind of help me develop my game. And I was working with Ethan. He was kind of doing some video and stuff with me.
Shout out Snap Visuals.
Yeah, shout out my boy. We was doing some video and stuff, and he ended up telling me like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go out to this gym and record some stuff for this guy named Chaz." And I'm like, "Who is Chaz?" And he was like, "Oh man, his work is great. He got all these kids and this and that, and he trains so and so, and he like just check him out." So I look at your Instagram. I'm like, "You got some good work." And he's like, "I'm gonna connect y'all." And we literally connected that day. You told me pull up the next day, and we're here now.
The
And
rest is,
yeah,
I think from then we basically trained Monday through Friday every week until you
facts,
left,
facts,
and that's what it's basically been.
and that's what it is now.
Yeah.
But and like I told you, I told Trim, I tell everybody like I'm real specific on who I let touch my game, and I trust you, and I trust everybody you have in your group to be able to kind of be a part of my journey. Um, and as you know, I'm with you every day. I don't let nobody else touch my game now. So I found you. You're my trainer here in St. Louis, and it is what it is. So um, it is what it is, and that's what it's gonna be. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No,
facts.
we're locked in. We're
Yeah,
locked in. No, I think one thing that like it's special, but like in this day and age, is also really hard. It's like just finding good people that you want to be around, who have the right intentions
yeah,
and the mentality behind it,
yeah,
and have the right, it's kind of like the stars need to align a little bit for those
yeah,
things to happen.
yeah,
But it's not that you can't get good work anywhere else. It's not that you couldn't get good work with other people. But I
yeah,
think what you said, in being very mindful of the voices that you allow you to affect your thought process, what you think,
yeah,
how you think, because I think allowing too many voices to come in the frame gets you overthinking, gets you not even playing like the way you play,
yeah,
gets you kind of away from you. So I think one, like, and again, I think this goes to show just like why you've had success, because you've been careful about the people that you allow in.
yeah,
um, like for me, it's like I'm a very open book. I like
yeah,
I try to keep things as transparent and open as possible. I try to share as much value and information as I can with as many people as possible. But I only have so much time to really invest in the people that I believe in, but also believe in me as well, trust
facts.
me as well.
Yeah,
So it's like having a reciprocation of something like that for me feels great. And I mean, it's one reason that have the space. It doesn't
yeah,
happen in the in the 3-4 years. This doesn't happen by accident,
facts.
right? But it's because it's like, again, I like to collect good people basically,
Yeah,
and just keep them in my circle.
yeah. No, facts, and that's kind of I feel like that's why we kind of mesh and bond well with each other, because like I said, we both kind of want the same thing out of everything. We kind of think alike, and like you said, you get somebody who's like genuine and want the same thing out of something, and you want to see each other win. It's like it's a win for win on both
It's
sides.
exactly right,
Yeah,
right. Where it's
yeah,
like, you know, I don't need anything from you. Like I don't
exactly.
need to attach my name to you,
Yeah,
or vice versa,
yeah,
right? I was like, we're both good in our respective rights and everything,
yeah,
and I think that's one reason why things work so well.
yeah,
Where it's just like if I need to attach everything I'm about to you to make me look better, or whatever, and
yeah.
everything, it's just like you're just about the wrong thing in my
Facts,
eyes, right?
facts.
And so it's like I'm never gonna, you know, like social media, that thing's a part of the game, but I'm never just gonna do something just to have it, just for the video and everything, right?
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of times, like, the reason that I do the videos is not so people can look at me and be like, oh, that's so cool. It's more so like I think it's really good for the community to see people from the Lou doing good things,
yeah,
right? I think it's good to see, like, and share as much of that information as possible and everything, because I
yeah,
think, like, especially in St. Louis, I think at times it's really good and tight knit, but at times it's like everyone's trying to, like, pull themselves up by pulling someone else down. And when
facts,
we talked about this before, it's
facts.
like there's enough good people, there's enough good players, there's enough good in St. Louis in general, especially in the basketball space. Like if people really wanted to get rid of their egos a little bit and just kind of move the game forward and
Yeah,
everything, I was like,
yeah,
St. Louis would be even a bigger hotspot than it actually is.
yeah, yeah. Because we got everything. Got the talent. I got the people we need to do it. But like you said, it's a lot of moving up and pulling people down. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah. All right. Well, yeah, check Yuri out and everything. Like, you know, he's, you know, we'll, you know, say, well, like anything next, anything you want to share, or,
uh,
uh,
stay tuned. Next job will be here soon. But nah, just I want to say appreciate you. He's been a good guy for me since we met. Great work. Check out Chaz. Come work with him. But nah, it's been a pleasure to even meet you, let alone work with you. But like I said, it is what it is, and it's gonna be what it is. So we got a lot left in this. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, you know, make sure to check out Yuri. You know, follow his journey. I believe he's gonna, just as he believes, like he's gonna be, you know, getting that NBA tag. I believe he's that capable, that type of player. As I said before, I think it's just an opportunity. You know, again, this game is, it won't, like, it's unrewarding, right? For a lot of things and everything. So you just gotta always be ready. So um, that's the mission right now. Stay ready. Um, you know, but yeah, till next time.
my God,
Appreciate you, man.
hell yeah.
Yeah.